Greetings there. I am James Virgilis, and I'm going to actually do something a little different for a change as I get in my own light. Professionalism. Awesome. Anyway, back on the 3rd, which was probably about 3 days ago, there was what is it? It was the 20th, well, supposedly anyway. I saw a few dozen videos of the anniversary of the PlayStation. It's the 20th anniversary of the PlayStation, and I saw a few videos on basically people's experiences with the PlayStation. So I was like, okay, well, I have some fond memories. So the first PlayStation, which is PlayStation 1 or PlayStation X, I guess, at the time. So I'm going to go with, why not go with it? So we got my beastie, which is right here. Yes. So this is my PSX, I guess. And as far as I know, it still works. The last time I actually checked it out. But this thing basically changed how I actually played games. Because before this, I was basically equivalent to a Nintendo fanboy. Because I did everything Nintendo. I had a 64 before this. And I don't know, I just really kind of, I don't know, at the time I was into 64, but it just seemed to not be holding my interest too much. Like, obviously there was the Mario behind it and the Zelda behind it, Ocarina of Time and Mario 64, big titles. But the thing is, it didn't satisfy me, or that thirst for gaming. So at the time, during the Super days, I was a big RPG guy. I loved RPGs, especially in Super. But on the 64, it just didn't satisfy that void. That void was void. Put it basically. So I was like, I needed something different other than the 64. So I started to veer away from the 64 on basically one premise. And I was like, okay, am I going to do it or am I not going to do it? And that's basically, and a lot of people probably know what I'm probably going to get at, is that Final Fantasy 3, which is 6, was such great, like, so great, that when Square announced for the next Final Fantasy, which was on the 64 at the time, and we saw the text footage, and we're like, oh, damn, this is gonna be good. But later, they chose not to go on the 64, but on this other system, which is the PlayStation, which was Sony. And I remember seeing the Sony back in like 95, and these little books, or like the not books, but catalogs. And it's not a Sears catalog. It was very close to a Sears catalog, but more of a. It was called Consumers Distribute. Here's up in Canada. I don't know if it's anywhere out of Ontario, but anyway. Still, nevertheless, like, I saw there and I saw it for like 500, 600. Oh, it was like $5.99, $600, and I'm like, okay, it's about around the same price as the 64. 64 was like $500 when it came out. So I remember, because I was one of those guys who got it for $500 back in the day. And people complain about $300 for a system these days. Anyway, moving on. So I saw the PlayStation. I'm like, it doesn't really interest me, because the games there was no games on it that interested me. At least I saw at the time in the book. I was in the catalog. I was like, I don't really, like, it didn't really interest me too much. Until Squaresoft, at the time, announced Final Fantasy VII. Saw the screenshots in one of these magazines. Actually, one of those ones probably behind me in the far corner, which is actually a game fan. And I was... Fuck, man. Screw it, I'm going to actually get that. So it was actually in this issue of Game Fan that basically changed my opinion on PlayStation. Totally. Because of this. Yes. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages of this consists of Final Fantasy VII. And what I saw, I have to say, I really was very impressed by it. I was like 16, 17 at the time. But I was very impressed by it. And I was like, I'm getting PlayStation. I just don't really know how I'm going to get a PlayStation, but I'm going to get a PlayStation. I'm sorry, I bumped my mic again. But yeah, I got a PlayStation about a few months before I got this. This is my original copy. This is the one I got back in probably release date, yes. Back in 97. This here is the only reason I actually went to PlayStation. And I have to say, it opened up a world that I was looking for RPGs. Because I wasn't sure, like, other than this, what did the PlayStation have? Like, I got a preview disc that kind of had Crash Bandicoot, which... I don't know, I have to say, I wasn't thoroughly impressed. It was like a really bad stage they did. But this one is the one I came over for. And I have to say, I played the hell out of this game. I played the hell out of this game. And I know it's severely overrated these days, but I have to say, it was for good reason, I have to say. Like, I was thoroughly impressed, and I played the hell about it, and I really didn't get a game until the following March. It was March of 98, or before I got my next one. And for some reason, during March break, which was in March, and it's like spring break, basically, something spring break, I decided to go down. For some reason, I got some money. I have no idea why. I don't know how I got this cash. But I had some spending money. So I went down to the local video store, renting store. And I saw this title, and I'm like, okay, I'm not too sure what it is. But it had the Final Fantasy title to it. And I played the hell out of it until I got to a certain boss, and I couldn't get past this boss, and I had to restart my whole game. But it introduced me to another type of RPG, which I would probably never consider, and that is Final Fantasy Tactics. This is probably the most... Oh, geez, I played probably most out of all my PlayStation games. I probably played this the most. I played over like 200 hours on this. And the funny thing is, I still have not beat it. I've seen it beat, and I was there in the same room when one of my friends beat it, and I was still really mad at him for beating it, because how he beat it. It was ridiculous. Oh my god. But still, this game introduced me to tactical RPGs, but I have to say it didn't really stick, because I other than a few here and there, it just didn't really stick for tactical RPGs. I'm like, but this game, great, fantastic. I've played this, like I said, for over 200 hours. And the PSP remake, even better, I have to say, because of the animated cutscenes. But, holy cow. Great game. And I don't want to do a review on the game, but I have to say this is like my second game that I actually did. And then I'm only going for my first couple of games because they have the most memorable stuff to it, basically. I did rent like a few of them here and there, but I'm going to go with the ones that I owned because those are the ones that stuck with me. So I played either Final Fantasy VII or Tactics until about my birthday, which was in October of that year. And I was actually going to be 18, so I was like, okay, PlayStation has like mature games, so let's get a mature game for my birthday. You know, I'm obviously probably going to get money for my birthday, or if not, I'm going to get enough for something. So I'm saying, let's get a mature game for my birthday, seeing that I'm 18. Why not? So basically, out of all the games that possibly could be rated M, or I know rated M is, I think, 17 and up, but nevertheless, you know, it's 18 is thing. I wanted to get a mature game, so I'm like, I went to one of the local video game stores that was close by me. Brilliant one, fantastic, like, great place. I keep on still going to it to this day. I looked there and I'm like, okay, what can I get? So I have to say Square, again, broke through. Like, I just got Square games, basically, because Square, after Final Fantasy VII, for probably like a few years, hell, up until about 2000, until about the PlayStation 2, I have to say, made fantastic games. Like, they had a couple of little misses there, but a lot of them were not just... Like, I actually mentioned this, I think, in one of my things. I think the Threads of Fate, actually, which I still need to finish. It was during I would say the golden age of Square, or like the golden age, because the golden age, I think, was probably like back in the Super, but the PlayStation era of Square was fantastic also. Like, holy cow. Like, they made some awesome titles, and original IPs, not just like things from here and there, but also some good original stuff too. And I think one of those original ones, I don't recall it actually being anywhere else, is that I picked up. My mature title is Parasite Eve. Yes, this one here. Out of all the mature games, I got Parasite Eve. And I have to say, mainly I got it for the mature sexual themes on it, but I have to say, it didn't really actually... I was a little disappointed on the content, like I was trying to look for. But I'd have to say, I wasn't too sure about this. I did see it in like a few magazines, but I didn't really know what it was about. But I have to say, it was good. It was different, and that's what I was looking for. Different games. Because Final Fantasy VII is more of a traditional, like I did on Super. Tactics was different from Final Fantasy VII. I was looking for different stuff, and I got different. And that's what I did. So I actually played those for probably up until about 2000, like May or June or something, where I got my first job, and I actually saved up for my first game, and this is the last game I'm going to talk about because it has the most memories to it. So I finally got enough money to get a game, and I'm like, okay, what can I buy? I wanted to get another one. It's an Square game. And I'm like, okay, what can I get? So the first game I actually officially owned with my own money ever, that I worked and actually got it, was Vanguard's Story. So I have to say, out of the entire game, like I have to say, the game is again different, but it's. I would say I can't say I can't give good things about this. Like it was but it has a lot of sentimental value to me. So I kept on playing it and playing it and playing it and playing it, and it's a good game. And I might have to redo this again, just to kind of get a feel of it, because I don't think I gave it a fair chance back in the day. But it's a great game because it's the depth of it, basically. The depth of the game. There's so much stuff behind the walls and stuff just... But I don't want to keep on going on about it, but this is my first game I officially owned. Like, officially owned. With my own money. So, that is great. So I have to say that PlayStation opened me up to a different world of, like, especially RPGs. Because if it not, I wouldn't be going into, like, PS2. And PS2 is the second best system that I've ever played. And has introduced me to a lot more other RPGs. And a lot of other games that are not, like a lot of action games, a lot of stuff. So, pretty much, if I wasn't... Where is it? If it wasn't for this... I don't think I'd be probably... Actually, I don't even think I would be into any kind of video games, because the rate I was going with Nintendo with the 64, I think I would have just died off, because the thing is, Nintendo was good for their, like, main IPs. It just didn't hold me until... So had to be something more. And Sony delivered on that. So I have to say thank you, Sony, for making the original PlayStation, because you introduced me to a world of difference. That's all I can say. Like, obviously, there's probably there's tons of other systems out there, but the thing is, there was something familiar, but yet different for the system, and I have to say that is why I say thank you, Sony, for making that difference. So that's about it. I don't know. I can probably say I'm a Sony fanboy, but the thing is, I play what's good, like what I like, and if that's makes me whatever, then so be it. But nevertheless, I want to thank you guys for watching my little rant, not rant, but little thing on Sony and their 20th anniversary for the PlayStation. So, just, if you have any memories, if whoever's watching, if you guys want to go there and have a good... Say what's good about the PlayStation. If you have any memories about the good old first PlayStation, go ahead and comment. Like, I'm good with that. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Toodaloo.